Bottom of the sixth inning, and a new pitcher for the YD Red Sox, Trenton Denholm, has entered tonight's game. And it's going to be difficult for the Mariners' bats to get something going against Denholm, who's been outstanding. As the first pitch to Aaron Shunk is swung on and missed. Denholm has pitched 19 1/3 innings of work. He struck out 28 batters, allowed 0 earned runs, just 6 walks, and 9 hits. Again, 19 1/3 innings of work, 0 runs. As the 0-1 pitch to Shunk misses low into the dirt in the count 1-1.
He is facing, however, a very potent lineup in the Harwich Mariners that has been red hot this evening, especially Aaron Shunk and Lipsius, the next two guys up. See if Dale can maneuver around these two hitters.
1-1 pitch cut on and fouled off behind home plate in the count 1-2. His last time out, he played versus the Wareham Gatemen. He faced 10 batters and he retired 10 batters. That was 4 days ago. And he comes in the bottom of the sixth inning, and he may only pitch 3 2/3 innings of work. I would not be surprised to see that same stat line tonight. He's just that good as the 1-2 pitch misses outside and the count 2 strikes. Over his last of a total of 7 2/3, or beg your pardon, 7 2/3 innings of work. He has allowed no hits as the 2-2 pitch is swung on. A line drive into left center field. Well, that will end that streak as Aaron Shunk is aboard with 1 out in the bottom of the sixth inning.
And all it takes is one guy to get on, and anything can happen here with 1 out, especially Andre Lipsius, who smoked one down the left field line back in the 4th inning, his last time at bat.
The pitch cut on and fouled off down the right field side, out of play, and the count 0-1 on Lipsius. The 0-1 delivery. This is low into the dirt, and the count 1-1 strike on Lipsius. Runner on first, 1 out. The 1-1 pitch cut on and fouled off, and the count 1-2.
Couple pitches fouled off here by Lipsius. He's right on. He's not missing it by much. We'll see if Demel can try to switch things up on Lipsius.
6-5 YD Red Sox lead. Bottom of the sixth inning. Runner on first base, 1 out. The 1-2 pitch to Lipsius. Swung on and fouled off to the screen behind home plate, and the count remains 1-2.
And Demel continues to go with the fastball here. Trying to just overmatch Lipsius, and Lipsius not backing down any bit here.
The 1-2 delivery. Again cut on and fouled off out of play. And the count remains 1-2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. As this will be the 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Denholm. The 1-2. This is low, and the count 2 strikes. But a really good-looking curveball from Denholm. A pitch that just misses below the knees and starts right at that thigh area and has that late breaking action on it. The 2-2 pitch swung on, a line drive into left center field for a base hit. Aaron Shunks will pull on the brakes over at second. So there will be runners on first and second, 1 out. So after Shunk got a single into left center, it's now a line drive into center field for Andre Lipsius, who after 6 pitches of fouling one off after the next and finally working a ball to make the count 2-2, he then lines the ball up the middle, and now runners on first and second with 1 out.
That's why all it takes is just get a guy out, and Shunk just getting on with a single, now back-to-back singles. Again, I mentioned before, these are probably the two most dangerous hitters in this Mariners lineup. But see if Wyckoff can continue the trend here and maybe try to play the run here to tie things back up.
I would be awfully surprised to see the Mariners put the runners in motion, but as the first pitch is swung on and grounded right back to the mound, Denholm to second for one, back on to first. It is a double play, a 1-6-3 double play to end the sixth inning. The Mariners threaten, but Denholm ends up retiring the Mariners after they put two runners on base. At the end of six, it's 6-5 Red Sox. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Back inside White House Field for the top half of the seventh inning. It is a 6-5 Red Sox lead. First pitch to Johnny DeLuca, misses for ball one. Remember, he was up at the plate in the sixth sitting, but Beasley was caught stealing to end that. So he's back up here to face Cronin. As the 1-0 pitch is skied up on the left side of the infield. Aaron Shunk backtracking, gives way to the shortstop, Tanner Morris. Able to maneuver around the lighting out there in left field to make the grab for the first out as DeLuca is retired.
Number 44, the first baseman, Andrew.
So now with one out in the top of the seventh. Nobody on, one out. 6-5. Red Sox lead over the Mariners, and all the runs came back in the sixth inning. As it was all in one swing of the bat, was a grand slam from Noah Campbell, a guy who's been doing it all year long back in South Carolina, now at the Red Sox, as first pitch is at the knees of the ever-dangerous first baseman, Andrew Doshbach. Doshbach so far has been hit by a pitch twice and lined out to the left field. Rykoff made a nice grab going down to his buttocks area. Rykoff and Shunk, two guys playing nice defense all around, though. Really good defensive side. One pitch is fouled back into the backstop for strike two as Doshbach's down the count. No balls and two strikes. So the sun is completely set here at White House Field. Lights taking full effect on the diamond. Just another beautiful Cape Cod night after rain was here earlier in the day. Game time was pushed back just a little bit. 0-2 pitch to Doshbach is hacked at and fouled back. So it kind of remains no balls and two strikes. Mariners looking to get back in this one. Mariners are out hitting the Red Sox, but again, it's just that big 6-run, 6th inning for the Red Sox. Mariners lead the hit column 9-6. But the Red Sox lead the Mariners 6-5. 0-2 pitch to Daschbach. This one is cracked out towards shallow center field. Coming in is the center fielder, Stan, who just lets it drop just in front. It went down on one knee to try to get it. Trying to make the basket diving type of catch, but you just wonder that ball hanging up in the air for a little bit, but a tough play to get.
Yeah, he didn't try to dive and make that play. Instead, he tried to go with the slide and came up just short.
So now Daschbach will reach base for the 3rd time this evening. Won the first time via the hit. So Daschbach on first. One out here in the top of the 7th. 6-5 Red Sox lead. Zach Zubia, the DH this evening, will set to do work from the right side, facing the right-hander Cronin. Cronin comes set from the stretch. First pitch. In at the knees for a strike one was the off-speed pitch from Cronin for strike one. Zubia is also having a nice ball game as well. 1 for 2 with a walk and a run. Steal in the first, grounded out to in the 4th, and walked and scored in the 6th. Looks to maybe add a few runs here for the Red Sox. Someone pitches a big swing and miss from Cronin. Count has no balls and 2 strikes.
As you take a look around the league, Mariners, of course, trailing the YD Red Sox here 6-5. And other scores, 6-5 lead for the Braves over the Commodores. That's in the bottom of the 8th. At McKean Park, the Anglers are all over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 9-1, and then the Wareham Gatemen lead the Orleans Firebirds 8-2. That's in the top of the 6th.
0-2 pitch bounces into the catcher's mitt of Logan Driscoll. Counts now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Zubia. Zubia holds his bat towards the pitcher. Cronin will bring it back into his stance. The 1-2 to Zubia. Awfully close pitch there, but just missing a little bit low and outside. Candyman's back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Daschbach holds steadfast over there at first base. Zubia trying to continue this inning, maybe trying to get Daschbach in scoring position as the 2-2 pitch is a high fly ball out towards shallow right field. Coming in now, a couple more steps is Norman. Will make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning as some distractions going on in the crowd. We heard some screams trying to maybe get Norman to drop it, but these are almost professionals here, and they'll make the catch was Norman.
You know, we've seen this a few times here at White House Field where a lot of the fans have been for the opposing team. I think we saw it with Chatham earlier this season. And a couple other times when Orleans, for sure, there were Orleans chants going on in the crowd, actually.
The Orleans Rally kids, they travel pretty well. First pitch, this one is slicing out towards the right fielder, Norman right at him as Quinn Connors is retired for the 3rd out here in the top of the 7th inning. But the Red Sox still hold a 6-5 leading into the 7th inning stretch. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And back inside White House Field for the home half of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch has been completed from White House Field. And as Driscoll, Norman Casals do up for the Mariners, they try to get that 1 run back. They trail 6-5. Haven't scored a run since the 3rd inning. They put 1 up on the board. And the Mariners scored only runs in the first 3 innings. 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. First pitch to Logan Driscoll, inside corner. Called strike 1. So Denholm will continue his work on the mound for the Whitey Red Sox. He was able to get Ike off the ground to a double play to end the inning. This one, 0-1 pitch is lined right back where it came from. This time Denholm couldn't get the glove on that one. A little bit too hard for him to get that, and Driscoll's aboard here with the leadoff single.
Another hit from Logan Driscoll, and he's been outstanding over the last couple of games. He's 2 for 4 in tonight's game, continuing to raise that batting average. And Ben Norman, somebody who, again, was struggling earlier in the year, has come around and is hitting well recently. He's 2 for 3 in tonight's contest. So out of the Mariners' 10 hits, 4 of them have come from Driscoll and Norman.
One of the hot guys out of Iowa, Ben Norman, will step in from the left side, facing the right-hander Denholm. Driscoll leads off at first base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Time is finally called as Denholm and Vito Fresia couldn't quite get on the same page. Couldn't really agree on a sign. So Norman will head back in. First pitch to Norman. This one's off the end of the bat, dropping in towards left field, but the shortstop Koss able to range over just behind the third baseman Quintana to make the grab. That one had a chance, but just hung up in the air for just a bit too long. And Koss able to pedal over there to make the grab.
Very nicely done by Koss, going back and backpedaling, going over towards his right. It's a tough play to make for a shortstop, but he moves over towards the left field line and makes that play. It's in fair ground, but he had a long way to travel to make that catch, and he does well to make the play.
So now with 1 out, Driscoll still off at first base as Danny Casals. First pitch at the knees for strike 1. Casals so far 1 for 3. Reached on an error, he singled, and he struck out. Mariners looking for a big rally here. They trail a run. Still have 3 more opportunities. 0-1 pitch to Casals is in the dirt, but get blocked by the catcher, Fresia. Count is now 1-1. Casals recorded his hit back in the 3rd inning off the starting pitcher, Carl Kaufman. As that one's off the edge of the barrel, a little short ground ball over towards shortstop. Only plays over towards first base, and Casals is retired, but Driscoll advances over towards second and in scoring position now with 2 outs. It's not the worst thing in the world, but again, not able to reach base, but still moves the runner over.
Yeah, Mariners getting a couple of base runners against Denholm, which is a positive because a lot of teams don't get base runners versus Denholm. So the fact the Mariners have somebody on base is a plus. Now Will Matheson will try to get the job done and drive in a run. And you'd have to think, being down a run and facing off against one of the best pitchers on Cape Cod, the Mariners are going to take some chances. They're going to do whatever it takes to try to get a run across home plate because the Mariners may only see Denholm for the rest of tonight's game. He's somebody who can go 3-4 innings, and he's already gone an inning of work, and he only has 2 1/3 left to go if he were to continue and stay in this ball game. So again, there's a real possibility we see Denholm for the rest of tonight's ball game. So the Mariners are going to need to take some chances when they get a runner on base, get him into scoring position, and do whatever it takes to try to get that run across home plate.
So now it's up to Will Masson to drive in the runner off of second base and Logan Driscoll after the meeting is adjourned on the rubber.
And how amazing it would be, a guy who struggled at the plate so far, does not have a hit in 17 at-bats. See him come back and get a hit off a guy like Denholm and drive in a run in a crucial spot. That would be huge for someone like Will Matheson.
First pitch to Masson, bounces the dirt for ball 1. 1-0 the count. So Driscoll off a second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. 6-5 Red Sox lead over the Harwich Mariners. Johnny stands on deck as a 1-0 pitch to Masson. Curveball outside corner. Masson so far, he struck out, walked, and a sac fly. Is 0 for 1. So he does have that RBI. It's a key one as well. Came back in the 3rd inning. As the last run that the Mariners scored. 2-0 pitch. Again, runs off the plate for ball 3, 3-0.
Matheson has worked 4 walks this season. I think he'd be content to work his 5th right here, find himself on base. A walk in a lot of situations is as good as a hit. Not here because there's a runner in scoring position. A hit would be a lot better than a walk in this situation, but he'd get himself on base.
The 3-0 pitch. And can't find the zone as Denholm, so a 4-pitch walk issued to Matheson by Denholm. So runners on first and second with still 2 outs. It is now up to the number 9 hitter, center fielder John Stanton. Well, local kids from here, mentioned before, out of Sandwich, Massachusetts on Cape Cod. You know, some of the parents who may have visited Cape Cod probably drove past the Sandwich sign. Now you're like, oh, I know where that is now. On the more towards the exit, I believe 3 or 4 side. I'll see Harwich more towards the exit 10. First pitch runs upstairs on Stanton for ball 1. Stanton this evening has a very similar stat line to Madison, except without the sac fly. He's walked, struck out, and grounded out. 1-0 pitch to Stanton as a ground ball just in front of home plate. The pitcher Denholm scoops it up and will throw on to first, and Sanders retired. So the Mariners drain 2 more here in the 7th inning as Denholm works out of the jam. And after 7, 6-5 Red Sox lead over the Mariners. You listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 8th inning, 6-5. Red Sox lead over the Harwich Mariners. As it will be Quintana to start things off. He'll come in from the right side. Quintana had the big RBI single back in the 6th to put the Red Sox on the board. First pitch at the belt for strike 1. So Quintana this evening is 1 for 3 with a key RBI single in the 6th. He came around to score on the grand slam. Cronin back on the hill. Cronin's pitching inning in a 3rd pitch as this one is lays it out towards left field. Eichhoff dives and unable to catch, says the third base umpire. They says he trapped the ball as that one hit the ground as he scooped it up. A nice effort again by Nate Eichhoff.
Yeah, it was a good effort. I'm pretty sure that's the right call by the umpires there, that the ball did bounce as he slid to try to make a play on that ball. It was close, but it was the right call that he did trap the ball out in left field. Shunk was trying to petition over to the umpire, putting his hand up, making the out sign, but umpire is not buying it.
One way you can try to record it out, why not? Try to sell something, almost like flopping in the NBA. In a way, I think of it as if your team can try to find a way to win, why not? As the first pitch to Casas popped up over into foul territory, but will reach the seats down there on the first base side.
You'd call that gamesmanship?
Count as no balls and 1 strike. Gamesmanship.
As opposed to going just over the line. There's gamesmanship, and then there's going too far. There's a fine line there, I think.
Well, I mean, I think if you can try to petition to the ump, they made the catch. Why not?
Yeah, and I think Shunk was well within the line of fair play there.
0-1 pitch misses outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Obviously, it's not being too absurd. I'm doing it every single time. But if you do it once a game, why not? Showing bunt is Kelsey. Bunts it right in front of home plate. Driscoll fields a throw down to second. Is in time. Back on to first. And Justin safely as Costa heads up play to Driscoll. And then Casals to try to turn 2. Almost does there. Costa's almost doubled off, but just beating it in.
And a great play by Driscoll getting that lead out at second base. Outstanding awareness. And now there's going to be an argument with the play over at second base, but the ability for a catcher like Driscoll to pick that ball up and throw a dart down to second base was really impressive.
Yeah, it might be maybe saying that might come off the bag at second, but the call will stand on the field as Quintana will slightly walk/jog back to first base dugout. So fielder's choice issued to Christian Cossey, trying to bunt Quintana over. Trying to play some small ball here with the Red Sox and maybe try to manufacture another run to stretch it to 2, but doesn't quite work out. And now Vito Freesia, the catcher, first pitch off speed is at the knees for strike 1. Freesia came as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. He walked, and that's when a run came in to score. That was the second run. 0-1 pitch to Freesia. Another off-speed pitch this time. It just misses above the letters for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on the catcher out of Hofstra. Always a fun fact like to say, but Hofstra, also known to a couple other athletes, Barkeys Colston, a longtime New Orleans Saint. Proud member of the Hofstra alumni. 1-1 pitch is a big swing and a miss by Freesia. Count as 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And I think Cronin has done a nice job recovering ever since that really rough 6th inning when he comes into the ball game. He walks a batter, allows the grand slam, and then another base hit. And the only way the Mariners got out of that inning was that they caught a runner stealing.
1-2 pitch, check swinging upstairs. Able to hold up his Freesia. Count as 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Cronin has definitely settled down since he first came in. For some guys, it's always easier to start an inning. And for some guys, high-leverage situations, it can go either way as the 2-2 pitch runs just too much inside and will hit Freesia. As he'll take his base over at first. So now the Red Sox have 2 men aboard with 1 out. Here in the top of the 8th, and they lead this game 6-5 with the Harwich Mariners. There have been a couple hits batsmen this evening.
I don't think Vito Freesia was very happy after he got hit. And now Coach Steve Englert is going to go out to the mound and have a meeting with Cronin. I have a feeling this will do it as Joe LaSorsa is warming up in the pen. And Coach Steve Englert does motion over towards the bullpen. So we will step aside and sort out the details when we come back. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Back inside White House Field here in the top of the 8th inning. 2 men aboard. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners is Joe Lasorsa out of St. John's. Lasorsa making his 11th appearance. That's good for second most on the team. Only behind none other than Andrew Misiazik. Lasorsa this season has pitched 19 innings.
It's been an up and down year for Joe Lasorsa. He's had some appearances where he's really shined as he took part in the Mariners no-hitter earlier this season. He's had other ones where he's struggled mightily. So, it just sort of depends on which Joe Lasorsa we're going to see tonight. He could just come in and mow down hitter after hitter, but on the other hand, he may run into some trouble.
First pitch at the knees to the switch-hitting second baseman Noah Campbell is at the knees for strike one. And Campbell, of course, came in with a loud bang with the grand slam to give the Red Sox the lead in the 6-run 6th inning. That's all that the offense has been for the Red Sox. Lefty-righty matchup of the 0-1 to Campbell. Off-speed pitch curveball at the knees once more for a strike two. Lasorsa is ahead down the count. No balls and 2 strikes. So still runners on first and second for the Red Sox. 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. 6-5 Red Sox lead. Campbell waves his bat towards the pitcher Lasorsa. Lasorsa comes set. The 0-2 pitch. Curveball more in on the hands and just getting a piece of it is Campbell. Tough pitch to hit and just loud enough you can make some contact. Noah Campbell out of South Carolina. Of course, they won the national championship back-to-back years, 2010, 2011. A couple talented players on those teams. 0-2 to Campbell. Big swing and miss. He goes down swinging. That's another big strikeout for Joe Lasorsa. So the first man he sees, he strikes him out of Noah Campbell. As the Mariners are just 1 out away from getting out of the jam here.
Yeah, nice pitch from Joe Lasorsa, and the Mariners now again 2 outs in the top of the 8th. They can get out of this inning. We'll have to see what the Whitey Red Sox do, although I bet they're going to go back to Denholm, who's been really good so far, but the Mariners have been able to get a couple hits off him, so possibly able to get something going in the bottom of the 8th.
So 2 minutes still aboard with 2 outs now. It is leadoff hitter Bradley Beasley, the right fielder. So far, he's 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, but Scott stealing back in the 6th, though. Lefty-righty match. The Beasley first pitch. Fastball runs off the play as the catcher Driscoll comes out of his crouch to make the catch. Red Sox trying to add a couple runs to their cushion. Lead by 1 so far. Still a tight ball game here into the later innings. The 1-0 pitch to Beasley is fouled off at the play. Looks like it hit around the ankle area, and we've seen a couple hitters this year fouling off towards that ankle, and it is not a very comfortable spot to be hit. Not a lot of cushion down there unless you have an ankle guard. A lot of bone. You know, you think about it, you wouldn't think of it, but the toe and maybe the ankle, maybe a couple of the more of the painful spots. You know, the
ankle's got to be painful, especially if you hit it right on that ankle bone. That's got to hurt a lot.
1-1 pitch to Beasley is a slow ground ball out towards shortstop Morris. Sidearm toss over to Casales at second for the 4th out. So Joe Lasorsa comes on and pitches the Mariners out of the jam in the 8th inning after 7.5. 6-5 Red Sox lead. The Mariners look to get the bats going here. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-5 Red Sox lead over the Harwich Mariners. Mariners looking to scratch another run across here to tie things back up. And not a better time to do it than now if they top the order, starting things off in Tanner Morris. 1, 2, 3 hitters set to do work for the Mariners. So Morris will come around to the left-hander's batter's box to face the right-hander. First pitch to Morris is fouled off back into the screen. Or just gets over the screen for strike 1. So Denholm doing work once more. He's pitched an inning and 2/3 so far. 3 hits, no runs, unearned, 1 walk and no punch-outs as the 0-1 pitch runs just a bit too far off the outside corner for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count.
Yeah, the Mariners have really, again, I don't want to say surprisingly, but it is somewhat surprisingly, been able to find some success versus a guy like Denholm, because Denholm's someone who's got a .78 whip, which is walks plus hits per innings pitch. Mariners are getting hits and walks off him all the time.
1-1 pitch is lasered out towards center field, dropping for a base in front of the center fielder, John DeLuca. So just like that, the Mariners have a leadoff man on again. They had Driscoll on with a leadoff single, couldn't get him around. Let's see if they can do it this time as Morris gets on base with a single.
Yeah, Mariners have a .500 on base percentage versus Denholm. 4 hits and a walk.
So still nobody out, 1 man aboard, and is now the ever-dangerous third baseman Aaron Shunk. Shunk this evening has put quite a resume, including a 2-bagger, 2 RBI double as the first pitch he sees is a high fly ball out towards right field. Just getting under it is Shunk, as the right fielder will make the grab out there. Beasley for out number 1.
It's a well-hit ball by Aaron Shunk, but it's right out towards the right fielder, Beasley, who does a nice job to just move over a couple steps and get the out. Mariners need to get that runner into scoring position. Tanner Morris would be able to score with the base hit if he's able to get over to second base, but the Mariners just have that runner on first for right now. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Morris try and steal now, though.
So 1 out, and Morris over at first. First pitch bounces a few feet before home plate for ball 1 on Andre Lipsius. Lipsius, who has his last 2 at-bats, has collected a single and a double. Moved to 2 for 3 on the evening, including a walk in the first. Denholm comes set, gets his sign from the catcher, Freesia. The 1-0 offering. Curveball at the knees for strike 1. Lipsius' count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Big spot here for Lipsius if he can try to reach base in general, or even try to find something in the gap. Would be able to, Morris will be able to come around towards third. 1-1 pitch is a slow chopper that is rolled over towards the Mariners' dugout area. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lipsius this season, .316 average, 3 home runs and 25 runs batted in. And it's good for first on the team in RBIs and first in home runs. Big offensive threat for the Mariners at the plate as the 1-2 pitch runs just a bit high. Pitch that was over the head of Lipsius. Count evens back up, at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Moore still holding off at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-5 Red Sox lead over the Harwich Mariners. Lipsius has the bat on her shoulder, brings it back up. The 2-2 pitch from Denholm. Curveball outside corner. Strike 3 call.
Ooh, that looked a little bit low on outside. Lipsius doesn't like it. He thought it was a ball. And I got a little bit of a late call from J.B. Torres, the home plate umpire. I thought that ball was low and outside for sure, but he gives a strike call to Trent Denholm.
Yeah, it was kind of like a half punch out, and then Lipsius was wandering around, hanging around there, trying to see it. You can see he was in a little bit of disbelief, man, but So now our 2 outs here. That Eichhoff, the header, first pitch he sees, is swung on and missed for strike one. Of course, last time these two players faced off, it was a 1-6-3 double play induced by Denholm.
Again, I would not be at all surprised to see Morris try to steal second base. It would be the perfect time to get him into scoring position.
Right-lefty matchup with 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch, just getting a piece of that one, is fouled back towards the dugout. 0-2 is the count on Eichhoff. So Morris still on first. The 0-2 pitch to Eichhoff. Outside corner. Not biting at the plate is Eichhoff. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Delm comes set from the belt. The 1-2 pitch is lined right back up the middle. Gets past the diving shortstop and Koss. So the single for Eichhoff. As the Mariners go station to station baseball here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They have runners in first and second with 2 outs.
And that's the exact reason I was surprised Tanner Morris didn't try to steal, because if he's on second base with that line drive over the middle, I don't think there's any question the Mariners are trying to send Morris. Whether or not he's thrown out is a totally different story. But the Mariners need runs, and they need runs now. And they had a golden opportunity right there at second to get a runner into scoring position. A base hit would have scored a run, but the Mariners opt not to try to have Morris steal second base. Instead, they have him stay right there at second, and now runners on first and second, 2 outs. There's a meeting at the mound. You'd have to see if there's going to be a pitching change or not. It's just the pitcher and catcher, Freesia and Denholm, talking right now, as Ryan Nelson is warming up in the bullpen for the YD Red Sox right now. Nelson's got a 3.07 ERA and 14 2/3 innings of work. He has 4 saves on the year. And I'd have to think they may go to him, but it may not be a bad idea to stay with Denholm. He's just that good.
So 2 outs, runners on first and second. First pitch to Driscoll, gets away from the catcher. Freesia, and now both runners advancing to 90 feet, as there are now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. As Morris is on third, and now Nate Eichhoff over at second base. Things is getting a little more interesting here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, an opportunity for the Mariners to not only tie this game, but take the lead with a single swing of the bat. That's why it's so important to get these runners in a scoring position earlier, which is why I wanted to see if Morris would try to steal. I was surprised he didn't, but Mariners with another opportunity to try to get these runs in, and I don't know if they'd rather have anybody else at the plate. Logan Driscoll red hot right now.
He is Mr. Clutch at the plate as the 1-0 pitch is curveball cut on and missed. And you can tell Driscoll wanted all of that one, but just out in front, he took a big hack at that one. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike on Driscoll. Can't do too much with it here. Just wherever the pitch is, just put it in play. Try to drive one into a gap or a hole in the infield. The 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. The pitch is line drive down the right field line, just foul.
Just a couple feet and foul. If that ball is about 2 feet to the left, the Mariners have taken the lead, but instead it's 2 feet to the right of the right field line, and this game is still a 6-5 YD lead, and Trent Denholm still has not allowed an earned run in 21 2/3 innings. Mariners looking to end that scoreless streak.
Mariners fans are praying there that that ball maybe just a foot or 2 more to the left would have been perfect. So now count is 1-2. Denholm up in the count, runners on second and third with 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch is off the hands of the bat area and fouled out of play. So Driscoll stays alive here with 2 strikes on him. Mariners trying to secure a big win over the YD Red Sox, a team that they have been unable to beat them this year. 0-4 coming in. Their last meeting will be tomorrow in YD. Driscoll waits. The 1-2 pitch finally comes set. Time is called by the home plate umpire, J.B. Torres. Morris off a third, Eichhoff off the second. 2 outs, 2 men on. Mariners trail a run. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball hops into the dirt as a good block by the catcher. Freeshu off the shoulder pad. Countyman's back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Driscoll. We mentioned Driscoll red hot so far this evening, 2 for 4 with 2 singles. He also drove in the first RBI for the Mariners. He had a big hit yesterday that drove in a run. The 2-2 to Driscoll almost gets away from the catcher. Freeshu, the curveball again. Able to move the body over and block that ball. Count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And this has been one of Denholm's probably his toughest appearance all season long. I just don't think he's had his stuff. He struggled a little bit with location, walked a batter, and he's fallen behind in some counts, and also just left pitches out over the heart of the plate a few times. He's already allowed 5 hits in 2 1/3 innings of work, also walked a batter.
3-2 to Driscoll. Outside corner, ball 4. Logan Driscoll takes his base, and you can tell the Red Sox bench wanted that one.
That was, I think that was outside. That was the right call made there by J.B. Torres, being 100% neutral on that pitch. It was a little bit outside. It was close.
Yeah, we could tell from our angle that that was almost towards the batter's box there, from the right-hander's batter's box, that white chalk line. As now there'll be a meeting on the mound and a new pitcher coming on for the YD Red Sox. So we'll step aside to see who it is and have them warm up. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Middle of the 8th inning here in the bottom of the 8th, as new pitcher on the mound is Ryan Nelson out of Oregon. Nelson so far is 2-0 with a 3.07 ERA, making his 13th appearance. He does have 4 saves on the season, which is most for this Red Sox team. This is a high-leverage situation here. Trying to get a 4-out save, unless Bad Norman can play spoilers here. 2 outs, bases loaded after Driscoll worked a brilliant walk. First pitch to Ben Norman misses upstairs for ball 1. Norman so far this evening 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. He also came around to score back in the 3rd inning. Had a 2-out, 2 RBI double in yesterday's win over Bourne in the 9th inning. 1-0 pitch, Norman, a big swing and a miss is for strike one.
Now Ryan Nelson, in 14 2/3 innings of work, has struck out 22 batters, which is very strong. Very good stuff from Nelson. He has walked 8. That number is high. You don't want to be walking over a half a batter per inning. Let's see how Nelson is coming in right out of the bullpen. Is he able to throw strikes consistently?
1 ball, 1 strike to count. A righty-lefty matchup with a pitch. Outside corner misses for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bases loaded with 2 outs. Norman trying to play hero for the Mariners here. Nelson trying to keep things at bay. Nelson comes set, he kicks and fires. 2-1 pitch, fastball levied up in the zone is swung on and missed for strike 2.
Really nice pitch by Nelson. He has a lot of confidence in the fastball up and out of the zone because if Norman doesn't bite, then the count's 3-1. So a lot of confidence for Nelson to go and throw that fastball up and out of the zone and get a swing from Norman. It's a really, really good fastball.
Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nelson looking to put away Norman here. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, and Norman goes down swinging as the Mariners will strand the bases loaded here in the 8th inning, and they still trail the Red Sox by a score of 6-5. Listen to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 9th inning between the Harwich Mariners and the YD Red Sox. Joe Lasorsa back on the hill for another inning of work. Pitched 2/3 of excellent baseball. The Mariners still trail the Red Sox by a score of 6-5 here. Top of the 9th inning. Jaluka Dashbach Zubia. 2-3-4 due up as Lasorsa fires a first pitch, but it is no pitch. As a ball gets away from the bullpen and the Mariners side of left field corner. As time was called very late. Lefty-righty matchup. The first pitch to Luca is perfectly placed in between the shortstop and the third baseman Shunk. As Luca will reach base here for the first time this evening's ball game. He was 0 for 4. So nobody out and DeLuca aboard.
Doshbach.
The 3-hole hitter Andrew Doshbach, who reached base 3 out of 4 times. 2 hit by pitches and a single.
Well, it's crucial for the Harwich Mariners to keep this at a one-run game because they'll have an opportunity to get back in it in the bottom of the 9th inning if they keep it at 1. But if this lead is extended to 2 or 3 runs, it just becomes that much more difficult for the Mariners' bats.
As the first pitch runs inside on Doshbach, and DeLuca will take his base at second base, advancing on the ball against the screen. Doshbach was almost hit for the 3rd time this evening. He danced out of the way.
To be honest, I thought that it did hit him on that first take. I guess I thought that it hit him on the inner shin, but Doshbach doesn't want first base, so clearly it didn't, because if he was hit by the pitch, I can tell you for sure he would have been looking for to be over on first.
So DeLuca now standing off at second base. Nobody out on the top of the ninth. 6-5 Red Sox lead. The 1-0 pitch to Doshbach is grounded right back to Lasorsa at the pitcher's mound. Lasorsa throws on the third and has him in a pickle as he'll tag out DeLuca for the first out in the inning, as Doshbach will reach first, but DeLuca is retired at second base. So nice heads-up play by Lasorsa. He fielded the ball, and if he didn't field that, it would have been a tough play up the middle, but Lasorsa able to get the lead runner, and now runner on first base, double play ball can get him out of the inning. So it is now the cleanup man is Zach Zubia, the DH this evening. He flew out his last time out of the 7th. One down here as first pitch to Zubia runs just a bit too much off the plate for ball 1. Lasorsa finally agrees on his sign, but Zubia will call for time. Zubia will readjust the batting gloves and will head towards that right side. One down the inning off of first base is Doshbach after they reached on a fielder's choice. 1-0 delivery from Lasorsa. Bounces in the dirt, good block by the catcher Logan Driscoll. Count is 2-0. Be big for the Mariners here to keep this deficit at 1. Got to do everything you can to not allow any more runs. 2-0 delivery. Pitch runs low and outside for ball 3. 3-0 is the count. Lasorsa comes in quickly, looking to find the zone here with 1 out. 3-0 the count. The pitch. Pitch misses the outside corner for ball 4, and just like that, Zubia works a 4-pitch walk as Doshbach will now head over towards second base, and the Red Sox have now a run in scoring position here with just 1 out. So now it is Quinn Cotton, the left fielder out of Grand Canyon University. He is 0 for 4 in this game. He's now 1 for 14 against the Mariners, and now across 4 contests. Looks to drive on a run here. Cotton was the WAC Player of the Year. First pitch he sees, a big swing and miss for a strike 1. And he was a guy that was very angry because coming into this season, he wasn't on any really like a list to watch for and anywhere. And ended up winning the WAC Player of the Year. So began to prove many people wrong. And that's why he's on the Cape now, hitting .294 with 20 runs batted in. So off of second base is Doshbach. Zubia off of first. Lefty-righty matchup. Lasorsa comes set. Kicks and fires. 0-1 pitch. Runs low one outside. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Cotton, left fielder. One down. The inning runners on first and second. 6-5 Red Sox lead over the Mariners. Lasorce looking to induce a ground ball here. The 1-1 pitch to Connors. Line drive out towards right center field. Gap cut off by the right fielder Norman. He'll try to get it back. Get it running around third. Heading home is Andrew Doshbach. And just like that, the YD Red Sox add another here. Now lead 7-5 with the Harwich Mariners. Advancing towards third is Zubio. So they'll have runners on the corners with just one out.
And that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot for the Harwich Mariners. It's a team that is, again, only down one going into the bottom of the ninth. Is a very big difference than going down by 2 runs into the bottom of the ninth inning, because, again, it's twice as hard to come back and tie a ball game in that situation. So, again, this is going to be it's going to hurt the Harwich Mariners. It doesn't end their hopes in the bottom of the ninth. They're still going to have an opportunity to try to come back and tie this game, but it definitely is going to be much tougher.
Oh, it's definitely tough as now Nick Quintana first pitch. He sees he rockets one out towards center field, right at the center fielder's stand. He makes the catch. Will throw it back in, but getting it easily towards home plate is Zubio, so he'll come around to score. As that is now the second run here in the ninth inning. Now they lead the Harwich Mariners 8-5 off the sacrifice fly from Nick Quintana.
And yet another run scored by the YD Red Sox tonight on this one is a sac fly, and they pad that run and add yet another insurance run going into the bottom of the ninth inning. So again, the Mariners bats are going to have a lot of work to do in the bottom of the ninth in a game that originally looked like the Mariners were in the driver's seat heading into the top of the sixth inning. All of a sudden, it's an 8-5 YD Red Sox lead.
First pitch is in there for a strike, and getting in safely at second base after the throw from Driscoll is Cotton. The first pitch missed for ball 1.
Yeah, and another opportunity. If the YD Red Sox complete yet another run, they're really the Mariners are at risk of falling out of this ball game. The YD Red Sox could really blow the doors open with another couple of hits. And again, the Mariners already down by 3 runs after 2 runs have already been scored on the top of the ninth.
0-1 pitch to Casas, bounced right in front to the pitcher. Lasorso spins and throws to retire Cos, but again, the YD Red Sox add 2 more insurance runs here in the ninth inning. They now lead the Harwich Mariners 8-5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Here inside the latter half of the ninth inning, 8-5 Red Sox lead off. They added 2 more in the top of the ninth. And now the Harwich Mariners have to score 3 runs to continue this ball game into the 10th or 4 to win. Nelson on the hill to face the 7, 8, 9 hitters in this Mariners lineup. First pitch to Casals. Runs low and outside for ball 1. Casals so far 1 for 4 with a single.
Yeah, it's 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up, and Matheson, each one of them has actually reached base at least once in tonight's ball game.
A 1-0 pitch is Scott out towards right field. The right fielder Beasley will make the grab just shy of the warning track out there for out number 1. So Casals is retired for the first out.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for the Mariners, number 35,
So now Brad Debo will pinch hit for Will Matheson. Of course, Brad Debo in yesterday's ball game recorded a pair of singles. He went 2 for 4 with a run in yesterday's win in Bourne. Now is called upon here in the ninth inning to try to reach base some way. First pitch to Debo's is spotted at the knees for strike one.
Yeah, and Brad Debo is red hot at the plate right now. He's 5 for his last 9. So he's somebody who could definitely get a base hit. I was a little surprised that he was not in the starting lineup tonight.
Well, one pitch is slapped foul over towards the hill on the third base side. Count is quickly 0-2. As you will take a walk around the circle for a second, we'll head back now to the left side. Righty-lefty matchup. One out here, nobody on the bottom of the ninth inning. 8-5 Red Sox lead. Nelson steps off the rubber for a second, and now will reconnect. Nelson once more steps off. Maybe some miscommunication with the new catcher, Herner, just into the game for Vito Fresia. Now the 0-2 from the windup. Fastball runs upstairs and outside for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nelson has a very interesting windup. Guy that almost pauses midway through his windup. He's still on the rubber, about to kick his leg. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. A 1-2 offering. Curveball misses low and inside. Count evens back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mariners looking to put up a comeback here. Haven't scored since the 3rd inning as a 2-2 pitch once more runs just a bit too inside. Count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2 pitch to Debo once more is fouled out of play over across the third base bleachers area of the Harwich Mariners. Still doing it at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Brad Debo doing a nice job working Nelson. Again, the Mariners have a lot of work to do, so the biggest thing the Mariners can do right now is just get a runner on base and start that rally.
Pitch number 7 to Debo. Just misses that lower part of the strike zone. Nelson not a fan of the call. And Debo's aboard here with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And the Mariners now have the tying run on deck. And as I thought would happen, Jordan Green is going to come in and pinch run for Brad Debo over at first base.
So Green brings a little more speed onto the base paths.
I think the crucial thing to remember right now for the Harwich Mariners is Green's run and Stanton, who stands at the plate right now, their runs are not the important run. You cannot let either Green or Stanton run themselves into outs. You need base runners, not runs. The important runner right now is the man who's on deck. That's Tanner Morris.
First pitch is Stanton. Is spot at the bottom part of the zone for strike 1.
The last thing you want to do is jeopardize either of these 2 runners if Stanton can get on base.
1 curveball to Stanton once more is at the knees for strike 2. Stanton, quickly down the count of no balls and 2 strikes. So Nelson looking to make quick work here. Ready matchup. Nelson comes out, he kicks and fires the 0-2 pitch. Runs above the letters for ball 1. Stanton thought about it, but able to hold up. Check swing, 1-2. Stan so far this evening is over 3 with a walk. He came around a score in the 3-run second inning. Mentioned before, 1 run in the first, 3 in the second, and 1 in the third. That's all the runs that have been scored for the Mariners so far. 1-2 curveball catches Stan looking. Nelson records another strikeout here. First one in the 9th inning.
Yeah, it's a nice pitch by Nelson. It's a little bit up and upper part of the zone, and Stanton looks at it, might have thought it was a little bit high, but JB Torres, the home plate umpire, rings him up, and now 2 away. Mariners down to their final out right now. See if they can try to create a little bit of offense. It is the top of the order coming up for the Mariners, so possibly get a couple of runners on base.
Top of the order indeed. First pitch to Tanner Morris is fouled back into the screen. Behind home plate for strike one. Morris in this evening's ball game is 2 for 4, including a single, or excuse me, 2 singles and a walk. He hit a single back in the 8th inning, was stranded over at third base. Mariners had the bases low in the 8th inning, but just couldn't quite capitalize on the opportunity, and it might come back to haunt him here. 0-1 fastball in there for strike 2. Mariners down to the last strike. No balls in, 2 strikes on the shortstop out of Virginia, Tanner Morris. Nelson shakes off the catcher, Herner. Gets his side, comes set from the belt. The 0-2 to Morris. Pitch is spoiled off by Morris and squeezed out of play over the fence area on the third base side. Count remains 0-2.
And one of the other problems for the Mariners is that they have been able to get a lot of base runners after Kaufman exited the game. The Mariners have gotten a total of 11 base runners since he exited the game. They haven't been able to play a single one.
0-2. Gribble runs just a bit too much high, tight on Morris. Count is 1-2.
And with Nelson right now with a runner on base, the Mariners just need to make sure that they stay patient. If they can get Morris on base, the tying run would come to the plate. So again, you don't want to, as I mentioned earlier, you don't want to run anybody into any outs right now, as they cannot jeopardize allowing another out.
1-2 pitch, a wave and a miss from Morris, and just like that, the Red Sox go on to take this game away from the Harwich Mariners by a final score of 8-5. Again, Red Sox score 8 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. Mariners 5 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. And that was the hit column was a big difference this evening. Just the 1 grand slam from Noah Campbell made the difference in the evening's ball game, as the Mariners left a base runner on every single inning. Left 2 on the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 8 in the eighth, or excuse me, 3 in the eighth, and 1 in the 9th inning. So that's the big story tonight. Again, a game that looked like maybe the Mariners back in maybe middle of June, late June, where they collect a lot of hits but just can't scratch enough runs to win the game. And the pitching was excellent this evening from Danny Poitamani.
Yeah, well, Poitamani was fantastic tonight. And as I mentioned earlier, I have a big problem with the ERA stat because of what the statistic is going to show on Poitamani's stat line. It's going to show 5 2/3 innings and 4 earned runs, but that is not at all indicative of the start he had. He left the game with 2 outs in the 6th inning, having allowed 1 earned run. And then the grand slam happens, and all of a sudden he's on the hook for 4. And again, the inherited runners rule is something that I have a big problem with the statistic, but going back to how he actually pitched, he was outstanding. He was really, really good. He gave the Mariners a chance to win, and he did everything the Mariners could possibly expect out of him. And his ERA may go up, but it was a really, really strong outing from Poitamani. And after Poitamani came out of the game, Cronin came in. He went an inning and 2 2/3, and it was tough for him. It was not his best outing for sure. He came in, he allows the grand slam off the bat, and then he allows a couple more hits. And he fought through the 6th inning or the 7th inning, I beg your pardon, a little more easily. He only allowed 1 base runner in the 7th, and then the 8th he ran into some trouble again. Lasorsa came in, and Lasorsa looked good in the 8th and struggled mightily in the 9th, allowing a couple more runs. And the Mariners were up in this game until the 6th inning. They were in the driver's seat. They looked like they were going to walk away with this win, and a win that they really needed against one of these top-tier teams. They are still yet to beat Chatham or YD, and you'd like to say something, find a silver lining out of that, but it's tough to do so when the Mariners are going to be facing off against the Chatham Anglers, and then if they were to win, they'd likely take on the YD Red Sox afterwards, and the Mariners are still yet to beat either one of those teams. And you never know what's going to happen come playoff time, but it's tough to say you're going to be able to win a 2 out of 3 game series in that situation when you haven't beaten them yet this season. So I think the Mariners have 2 really important games coming up later in the season. It's going to be tomorrow's game versus YD, and the following game versus Chatham. Those are the 2 games to look to, because if the Mariners can win one or both of those games, it would be huge for their confidence moving into the postseason, because those are the games that are important. They're going to be facing off against those teams in the playoffs, and when you go into the first game of the playoffs and you haven't beaten either of the 2 teams you're going to face, it's really tough on the confidence.
Oh, it definitely is tough. Again, you going back, if the Mariners do advance to the playoffs, it's going to be an awfully tough road ahead, against teams that you haven't generally beat much in the regular season. There's more of a sample size as well. It's just different things, again, against Chatham, it's just the one big inning, and against YD, it's just YD almost every single time has come back to win. You go back to a couple of first games, you think about back at first time at YD, had a big lead, and then they lost out and ended up losing that game, I think 12-1 or 12-2. And then you go back to the walk-off hit by YD, Mariners leading that game as well, Mariners leading this game as well, and just couldn't quite play a complete game. So against each team, it's just something different. It's something new. A new problem arises for the Mariners. And today, they collected a bunch of hits, just couldn't drive guys in. And you have to tip your hat to the Red Sox bullpen as well. Kaufman got a little touched up, but Taransky and Renholm and Nelson really pitched a nice game out of the bullpen and really kept the bats at bay, even though they gave some hits, able to limit the damage.
Yeah, I think the pitcher to focus on for tonight's game from YD is Denholm. Now, Denholm had a game where he didn't have it. It was very far from his best stuff. He allowed 7 base runners in 2 1/3 innings of work. But with that said, it was some of the most outstanding work I've seen for somebody who's found himself in jam after jam after jam, yet he finds a way to work out of it, and there's something to be said for that. It was not a good outing from him. It clearly was not. But even still, he doesn't allow a single run in 2 1/3 innings of work, and that has been the story of Trent Denholm all season long. He won't allow a run. It is now 21 in 2/3 innings of work on Cape Cod, where Trent Denholm has been perfect.
And he's definitely looked well. We probably won't see him tomorrow, as the Harwich Mariners will head to YD. 5 o'clock game for first pitch is. Pregame show starts at 4:45. Mariners look to try to still clinch that playoff spot in towards the Eastern Division. The more than likely being the 3-spot area, and they'll probably take on the Chatham Anglers, as the point differentials may be a little too large to make up unless Harwich wins out and Chatham loses out. But anything is possible here in the Cape League, so the Mariners look to try to clinch their spot tomorrow in YD. They'll face the same YD Red Sox, as they'll try to pick up their first win against YD this season.
Yeah, and it'll be big for the Mariners. As I mentioned earlier, these are the games that they need to win, and we'll have to see how they can do tomorrow. It's going to be a new pitcher for the Mariners, Jacob Bradley, who we haven't seen much of so far this season. A lot of new additions coming in for the Harwich Mariners. We'll have to see how that team is able to do. Again, we mentioned how many really strong arms, high-level Division I arms were here early in the season, whether it be somebody like a Zach Hess or a Kyle Baranovich or Tyler Baum. These are guys who are, a lot of them are projected first-round talents in next year's draft. And you're going to, and now all of these guys are either going to USA or they're going home or one thing or another, and they're going to be relying on arms who maybe are not quite as well known, and guys who have pitched well in other situations in other leagues, who are all-stars in other leagues, who are coming up to the Cape League because they found success other places, and seeing if these guys can work some of the same magic that guys like Baum and other guys like Baranovich and Hess and those sort of pitchers found. So the Mariners still have some arms they had at the beginning of the season. There are a couple of them, guys like DeVito and a couple others like Miziazik. These guys are still there, but for the most part, it's almost an entirely new roster from what they had at the beginning of the season. So we're going to have to see how this Mariners team is able to do now with a lot of new players coming in.
It's almost a carousel of pitching down there in the bullpen and the starting rotation, but again, it's the team that best molds their team together, able to click at the right time, ends up winning the Cape League Championship. So that'll do it for us here from White House Field, as the YD Red Sox defeat the Harwich Mariners by a final score of 8-5. We'll see you in YD tomorrow. First pitch at 5 o'clock, 40:45 pregame show. I'm Thomas Sims, alongside my broadcasting partner, Austin Rooney. We'll see you in YD tomorrow.